Lean Officer Krell Vox had escorted 712 detainees across the Kashik spiral. War criminals, political agitators, religious extremists, even one telepathic hive queen that tried to eat his thought through his visor. So when the assignment brief flashed across his retinal display, human and female non-augmented, age 19 standard years, he nearly laughed. Humans were troublesome? Yes. Loud, emotional, inconveniently creative, but dangerous only in groups, only with weapons, only when allowed to prepare. This one was alone. Escort task. Transfer detainee from Interstellar Tribunal Station ECH-09 to Containment Archive Helix Prime. Threat level minimal. Special notes. Subject possesses non-standard personal artifact. Do not confiscate unless hostile behavior observed. Krell's 4 eyes narrowed. A personal artifact? That was unusual. Tribunal protocol dictated that all detainees, special humans, were stripped of possessions down to their skin. Yet this one item remained. Curiosity prickled through his armored spine. The human Mara Holt sat in the holding chamber with her hands folded calmly in her lap, no restraint. No sedatives, just a simple gray detention tunic and a small object hanging from a chain around her neck. She looked unimpressive, short, fragile, soft-skinned, dark hair pulled back in a careless knot, brown eyes scanning the chamber with quiet focus rather than fear. Her heart rate, displayed on Krell's HUD, was elevated but not panicked. Alert calculating, Krell stepped into the chamber, his armored boots resonating against the alloy floor. His species stood nearly 3 meters tall, with layered chitin plating, 4 eyes, and mandibles that could shear steel cable. Mara looked up and smiled. That unsettled him. Human detainee Mara. Old Krell said imperfectly modulated galactic standard. You are scheduled for transfer. Compliance will ensure comfort. Comfort's relative, she replied. Her voice was steady. You going to shackle me, or are we keeping things polite? Krell paused. Humans usually argued, begged, threatened, or attempted humor that fell flat across species lines. This one negotiated. No restraints required, Krell said. Your record indicates no prior violence. Mara tilted her head. Record doesn't show everything. Krell chose to ignore that. Stand, follow, she did. No hesitation, no resistance. As they exited the holding chamber and moved into the main transit corridor of ECH-09, Krell initiated the escort shielder translucent energy field designed to neutralize sudden movement. Standard procedure. Still, his attention kept drifting to the object at her chest. It was small, metallic, old, not a weapon by any recognized classification. Yet every sensor scan returned partial interference. That bothered him. The heirloom. As they walked, Mara's fingers brushed the object unconsciously. Krell noticed. You are permitted one personal artifact, he said. Explain its significance? She glanced up at him. Family heirloom. That does not explain its function. It doesn't have a function, Mara said. It's a reminder. Krell processed this. A reminder had no tactical value. Reminder of what? He asked. She smiled again, this time without warmth. Why, my family is still alive. Krell stopped walking. The corridor lights hummed softly around them as maintenance drones drifted past. That statement implies prior hostile encounters, Krell said. Doesn't everything? Mara replied, her gaze flicked to his visor. You ever notice how every species that underestimates humans writes it off as a miscalculation afterward? Krell resumed walking. Conversation with detainees was unnecessary, yet he found himself replying, humans possess no inherent biological advantage? No, Mara agreed. We borrow ours. The transfer vessel. The escort shuttle Vigilance of Dawn was docked at the outer ring of the station, a military-grade transport designed to survive ambush, vacuum exposure, and internal riots. Krell guided Mara aboard. The interior was sterile, cold, efficient. 2 escort drones activated, hovering silently near the ceiling. Auto-turrets tracked Mara's movement with invisible precision. Krell gestured toward the restraint seat. Sit. She did. As the shuttle disengaged from the station and entered slipspace, Krell took his position opposite her. Mission clock, 6.2 standard hours to Helix Prime. Routine. Then the alarm screamed. Ambush space ripped open. That was the only way Krell could describe it. Slipspace collapsed violently as multiple vessels emerged directly in their trajectory on. Illegal maneuver that tore reality like thin fabric. Pirate ships. Black Owl. No registry. Armed beyond civilian limits. The Vigilance of Dawn shuddered as the first ion lance struck its shields. Red lights flared. Unknown vessels. Disengage immediately. Krell broadcast. This transport is under tribunal protection. The response came back in Distort the Galactic Standard. Transfer the human or die. Krell's mandibles flexed. Human trafficking was common on the fringe, but attacking a tribunal escort, suicidal. Request denied, Krell replied. Weapons fire intensified. The shuttle's shields buckled under concentrated assault. Krell accessed tactical feats, calculating evasive maneuvers, and realized with a cold spike of awareness that the pirates were not firing indiscriminately. They were targeting containment systems. Specifically, the human. Mara Holt, Krell said sharply, remained seated. She was already unbuckling. You might want to listen to them, she said calmly. They're not here for you. Krell rose to his full height, blocking her path. Sit down. She looked up at him. No. Then the shuttle rocked violently as a breaching torpedo slammed into the hull. Metal screamed. Atmospheric pressure dropped. Emergency bulkheads slammed chute-zip, braiding the cockpit from the detention bay. Krell activated his combat plating. Mara Holt, he barked. This is an order. The lights went out for exactly 3 seconds. When emergency power flickered back on, the escort drones lay smoking on the floor, systems fried as if by an internal surge. Krell's HUD filled with error messages. EMP, internal, impossible. He turned slowly. Mara stood in the center of the bay, the heirloom in her hand now no longer inert. It glowed. Softly blue-white, ancient symbols crawled across its surface, reconfiguring, aligning, waking. Krell
Vox had fought in 3 border wars, 2 suppression campaigns, and 1 classified operation that officially never happened. Nothing in his service record prepared him for the sight standing before him now. The human girl, the detainee, was no longer merely a biological anomaly under tribunal custody. She was a power source. Energy readings flooded his HUD, cascading warnings stacking faster than his neural implants could prioritize them. Unidentified technology. Power output, escalating origin. Non-galactic standard, the heirloom in Mara Holt's hand, pulsed softly, its glow synchronizing with the shuttle's failing systems. And then against all protocol, all logic, the ship stabilized. Hull breaches sealed themselves. Life support normalized. Gravity reasserted control. Krell lowered his weapon by a fraction. "What?" he said carefully. "Are you holding?" Mara exhaled slowly, as if centering herself. "My grandfather called it a promise," she replied. "My mother called it insurance." She looked at the shimmering artifact. Her expression caught somewhere between pride and grief. "I call it the reason my family never ran. The heirloom's truth. The pirates breached the outer hull moments later. Explosive charges blew inward, slicing through reinforced alloy like paper. Smoke and debris filled the detention bay as armored figures poured through the opening tall. Scaled beings with weaponry far too advanced for common raiders. Krell recognized them instantly. The Varkan Syndicate, professional abductors, tech thieves, human specialists. So they knew. Krell moved instinctively, firing his pulse rifle. Varkan fell, armor collapsing inward under the kinetic surge, but more followed. Mara didn't flinch. Instead, she raised the heirloom. The artifact unfolded, that was the only word for it. Layers of impossible geometry peeled back from its surface, forming a lattice of glowing lines that rotated around her wrist and forearm. Symbols resolved into structured patterns of rhythms written in light. Krell's sensors went blind. It's not malfunctioned. Blind, as if the data itself refused to be observed. Mara's voice cut through the chaos, suddenly sharper, steadier. "Grandpa said it was built by people who didn't believe in gods." A pirate lunged toward her. The air bent, not exploded, not burned. Bent. The Varkan froze mid-stride. Crushed inward by localized gravity, before collapsing into a compact sphere of compressed matter that clattered harmlessly against the deck. Silence followed. The remaining pirates hesitated. Krell stared. "Humans are classified as pre-singularity," he said. "Your species lacks the theoretical framework for—" Mara looked at him. "We didn't lack it," she said. "We hid it. Why humans were allowed to live, the pirates recovered quickly. They always did. Weapons came up. Energy shields flared." Mara lowered her arm. "I don't want to kill you," she called out. "But I will go home." The Varkan leader laughed a harsh, grinding sound. "That device belongs to the galaxy now. Human. You're just the key." Krell shifted his stance. "You knew this would happen," he said to Mara. "Your capture. This escort." She nodded. "Turned myself in. That hit harder than any weapon discharge." "What, you volunteered for tribunal detention?" "I needed to move it off Earth," she said quietly. Too many eyes were getting close. Krell processed this rapidly. Earth, a protected world, low priority, technologically unremarkable. A lie. The pirates advanced again. Mara sighed, regret flickering across her face. "Guess Grandpa was right," she murmured. "His talking only works until it doesn't." She raised the heirloom again. This time Krell felt it not through sensors, but inside his exoskeleton. The tech interfaced with his armor without permission, rerouting power, optimizing structural integrity, upgrading him, without consent, without effort. Krell gasped as his systems rewrote themselves. "What are you doing to me?" Borrowing, Mara said. "Just like humans do." She stepped forward. The heirloom projected outward, forming a translucent field that expanded rapidly, engulfing the pirates. Their weapons powered down, their shields collapsed. One by one, they fell to their knees. The Varkan leader stared up at her in disbelief. "What is that thing?" Mara looked almost sad. "It's a reminder," she said, "of why your species signed the armistice." The leader's eyes widened. The Terran Black Project. Krell's mind reeled. That was a myth. A whispered theory among senior officers. Supposed reason why the Galactic Council had unanimously agreed to limit observation of humanity rather than conquest. "You remember now?" Mara continued. "Good." The heirloom pulsed. The pirates screamed. And then they were gone, teleported, displaced, erased from the shuttle entirely. Not killed, removed. Aftermath, the detention bay was quiet. Too quiet. Krell lowered himself heavily against the bulkhead, armor systems slowly reverting to baseline as the heirloom dimmed. Mara swayed. He caught her before she fell. Her skin was warm, fragile, human. "You're overexerted," Krell said automatically. "Ouch." She laughed weakly. "Yeah, Grandpa warned me about that part." Krell looked at her illy. looked, "You carry technology capable of bending space-time, rewriting alien systems, and neutralizing armed syndicates," he said. "Yet your people present themselves as harmless." Mara closed her eyes briefly. "Because the last time we didn't," she said, "half the galaxy burned." Krell's blood ran cold. "You're saying humanity chose limitation?" "Yes. Why?" She met his gaze. "Because power scares everyone," she said. "Including us." The choice warning lights flared again, different this time. "It's an incoming signal. High authority encryption. Tribunal command." Krell answered automatically. "Officer Vox," came the voice. "We are detecting unauthorized energy signatures aboard your vessel. Status report." Krell looked at Mara. She gave a small nod. "Tell them the truth," she said. "Just not all of it." Krell turned back to the display. "Escort vessel attacked by pirates," he reported. "Threat neutralized. Detainee secure." There was a pause, and the anomaly. Krell hesitated. For the first time in his career, he considered disobedience. He thought of the pirates prepared, informed. Expecting Mara, he thought of Earth, quietly sitting at the edge of galactic maps, underestimated by everyone. He thought of the way Mara had stepped forward, not to dominate, but to protect. "No anomaly detected," Krell said. Silence. Then, "Understood. Proceed to Helix Prime." The channel closed. Krell exhaled. "You just lied to the tribunal," Mara said. "Yes," he replied. "Why?" Krell looked at the heirloom, now dormant against her chest. "Because," he said slowly, "if the Council learns what humanity truly is, they will not choose peace." Mara smiled faintly. "Welcome to the family's secret, Officer Vox. A galaxy watches far beyond the shuttle, hidden sensors activated. Ancient systems dormant for centuries stirred. One by one, they recorded the energy signature that had flared, however briefly, human, Terran, inheritance class. Somewhere in the dark between stars, something old and very cautious changed its plans. Krell Vox had always believed the galaxy ran on hierarchy. Strong above weak, old above young, advanced above primitive. It was a clean system, predictable, safe. Humanity broke it. Arrival at Helix Prime. Helix Prime rose from the void like a monument to control, an artificial world wrapped in luminous rings. Each layer housing archives, courts, and containment chambers designed to hold threats too dangerous to destroy. As the vigilance of dawn approached, Krell felt something he had never experienced on final approach before. Apprehension, not of the detainee, of the destination. Mara stood beside him at the viewport, heirloom resting quietly against her chest. "It won't be a prison," she said softly. "You cannot know that," Krell replied. She smiled. "I know humans." The docking clamps locked with a thunderous finality. The hangar doors opened, and waiting for them were not guards, but counselors. 6 of them, representatives of the most powerful species in known space. That alone told Krell everything. They knew. The Council's fear, Counselor Threxel, stepped forward tall. Crystalline, ancient beyond reckoning. "Mara Holt of Earth," the Counselor intoned. "You stand before the Galactic Council under emergency authority." Mara nodded politely. "I figured." Krell moved instinctively to stand between them. "This human is under my escort," he said. Any deviation from protocol is suspended," Threxel interrupted. "Officer Vox, you are dismissed." Krell didn't move. Mara touched his arm. "It's okay," she said. "This was always the destination." Krell clenched his mandibles. "You planned this," he realized. "Pirates? The escort? Me, yes," Mara said honestly. But not the way it unfolded. She stepped forward alone. The hangar doors sealed. Silence pressed in. "The truth the galaxy buried, we know what you carry," Threxel said. "At an inheritance-class Terran device." Mara tilted her head. "Then you know why your species signed the armistice?" The counselors shifted uneasily. Centuries ago, long before Krell's birth, humanity had entered the galactic stage briefly, violently, and decisively. Not as conquerors, as problem solvers. A war no one could win had ended the moment humans arrived. Not through annihilation, but through choice removal. Entire fleets disarmed mid-battle. Aggressors relocated light years away. Superweapons rendered inert without explosion, and then humanity vanished. Earth withdrew. Technology locked away. The Council had agreed unanimously that a species capable of such restraint was far more dangerous than one without it. "You were too powerful," Threxel said. "And worse, you knew it." Mara's eyes hardened. "No," she replied. "We knew you weren't ready. Why the heirlooms exist." She raised the heirloom. It activated gently, like a heartbeat. "These aren't weapons," she said. "They're keys." Keys to systems humanity dismantled and hid across the galaxy. Fail-safes, locks on reality-level infrastructure. "We didn't trust ourselves to rule," Mara continued. "So we decentralized the power, gave pieces to families who valued protection over dominance." Krell realized the scale of it then. Humanity hadn't disarmed. It had distributed. "You fear invasion," Mara said, "but we never planned to conquer." Threxel's voice trembled. "What? Then why does this device still exist?" Mara met the counselor's gaze. "Because mercy," she said, "only matters if it's a choice." The Council's mistaken alarm blared. Not from Helix Prime, from everywhere. Ancient sensors, there than the Council itself, lit up across the chamber displays. Multiple incursions. Dozens. No. Hundreds. The galaxy's dormant predators had awakened. Species that had waited centuries for the moment humanity revealed itself again. They had sensed the heirloom. And they were coming. Threxel recoiled. "You've doomed us all." Mara shook her head. "No, you delayed the inevitable." Krell stepped forward. "Counselors," he said, "request permission to speak." They ignored him. Mara didn't. "Krell," she said, "would you protect Earth?" He didn't hesitate. "Yes, would you protect them?" she asked, gesturing to the Council. Krell swallowed. "Yes," she smiled. "That's why I chose you." Humanity steps back and Mara activated the heirloom fully. Not as a weapon, as a signal. Across the stars, buried Terran systems came online. Not fleets. Not armies. Infrastructure. Defensive grids activated around vulnerable worlds. Hyperlane stabilizers reasserted control. Hostile incursions stalled, not destroyed, but contained. The galaxy felt it. A presence. Calm, measured, unyielding. A voice echoed through every major relay knot. "Mara's, but humanity's. This is Earth. We see you. Stand down." The attacking forces froze. Some fled, some surrendered, none advanced. The final lesson? The Council chamber was silent. Threxel lowered himself. "You could rule us," he whispered. Mara deactivated the heirloom. "Yes," she said. "But then we'd become what we were protecting you from." She turned to leave. Krell followed. "What happens now?" he asked. Mara glanced back at Helix Prime. "You update your records," she said. "Humans aren't weak." She smiled. "We're patient." Epilogue. Officer Vox's report filed under Reclassification Request Species. Human Terran. Threat level, incorrect, correct designation. Stabilizing force humanity should never be underestimated. Not because they seek domination, but because they always choose restraint till restraint is no longer enough. Krell Vox closed the file. Somewhere on Earth, a family heirloom went back to being just that, and the galaxy slept easier, knowing not that humans were watching, but that they cared.